The best stuff in comics this week.
Welcome to another episode of The Best Stuff in Comics This Week. This is where we look at the other best stuff besides the best covers, the best art, and the best avocados. This week's best declaration of war comes from Justice League number 16. So we know Ocean Master, he's a little ticked off because some bombs were dropped on Atlantis and all the stuff like that. So he comes, how do you approach the Justice League and say this is war? Just like this. It is time for war. Or maybe it'd be, it is time for war. Because, underwater bubbles, but he's not underwater. Best declaration of war this week. This week's best, most awkward morning after comes from Young Justice number 1. So we have Kate Bishop. She wakes up.
I'm in a bed. It's not mine. This is me. For a second, some part of me thinks I should be ashamed. I think that part of me is really stupid. Do I just get the hell out of here? Do we go for breakfast? Where does he keep the copy? What did he say his name was?
Let it be known, we don't necessarily condone awkward next morning afters, but this was the best one this week. Also in Young Avengers number 1, we have the best reference to Captain America First Avenger, the movie. So we're in Wiccan's bedroom, and maybe it's Hulkling's bedroom, and when you see a poster there, it's just like the Chris Evans poster. Captain First Avenger. Best Captain America First Avenger movie reference this week. Speaking of awkward, this week's best awkward bromance comes from Injustice Gods Among Us number 2. So we have Flash and Batman. Sorry, I know carrying you is a bit awkward, but it really is the quickest way. Just go fast enough that no one can see us. Best, most awkward romance this week. This week's best homage to Superman vs. Muhammad Ali comes from Deadpool number 4. So you know there's a bunch of dead presidents. Evil dead Abraham Lincoln has been a nemesis. You can even see on the cover. But there's a page here where they're actually fighting. It's just like when Superman fought Muhammad Ali. And you can even see there's like some real famous people in the audience watching. Why Daredevil's there watching? Why? I don't know. Best Superman vs. Muhammad Ali homage this week. This week's best creepy vision comes from Wonder Woman number 16. So one of her new brothers has this interesting way of looking. He walks around, he's got this bandana over his eye, but then he pulls it down and he reveals, "Let me see if I can help you." And there's worms in his eye socket, and he can see everything, and it's really gross. Even a lion chomping away in the garbage truck. He's got to see what's going on in garbage trucks. Best creepy vision this week. This week's best use of a chat room comes from Exo Manowar number 9. I think that speaks for itself. That's what you should do in the chat rooms. This week's best staircase chase scene comes from FF number 4. So we got the Yancey Street gang, Little Punks, Ant-Man, Scott Lang is chasing him. And he's going down, down, down all these stairs, and you can see what's really cool. And check out the Yancey Street game. That could be like best silly costume. They're dressed like their arch nemesis, Benjamin J. Grimm. We also have the best towel fight scene. Well, it's not really a towel fight. But a fight in a towel. This week. This week's strangest use of a beloved pet comes from Judge Dredd number 3.
Within the past few minutes, 9 other cases have been reported. The targets, relatives of the city's wealthiest residents. Wives, husbands, children, even beloved family pets. All threatened with gruesome torture and needless medical procedures unless the ransom is paid in cash.
Iken has anesthesia?
Best weirdest use of beloved family pets this week. This week's best Poltergeist reference. Now, Poltergeist was the movie with the little girl in front of the TV. Comes from Uncanny X-Force number 1. So you can see on the cover, it's not really a spoiler. We got this guy, Bishop. He comes back. What does he say? "I'm back." Poltergeist, they're back. Little girl. Best Poltergeist reference this week. Now, I was going to say Wolverine and the X-Men number 24 is the best issue full of love, but if you saw the last page on Candy X-Force number 1, you know there's some loving going on here. It's a little strange. A lot of strange loving going on this week. So it's a tie. And I'm not going to show you this last page. It's strange. This week's best scariest hammer comes from Nightwing number 16. Joker is jokerizing everyone, and he gives this little girl that's been jokerized this hammer. Look at that hammer. It's full of spikes. It's like, do you hit him on with the flat end or you hit him with the spiky ends? Either way, it's gonna hurt. Best scariest hammer. And this week's best t-shirt is in A+X number 4. We have Quentin Quire. He actually has a couple different shirts on. One shirt you can see, Magneto. How's he work? He also has one that says, Ivan Drago was robbed. And there's a couple others as well. Best t-shirts this week. And that is it for this week. There's so many comics. I'm sure there's a ton of other best stuff. Let us know in the comments below. Special thanks to John Robena, Maddie De Niro, Blue Valley Kid, Justin, B Creature 16, DJ Franco, Deadpool Tech Guy, Big Walt Diesel, Director 421, Oni Link 666, Wrath Sound, Moss F, Immortal Fireboy, and Josh Cole. If you would like to participate each week, you can @reply me on Twitter, GManFromHeck. Do it on Wednesdays, Thursday mornings. Use the hashtag #BestStuffInComics, and I'll take your suggestions under consideration. Always look for the best stuff, and avoid those really awkward kisses. This week's best stair chase scene. This week's best staircase chase scene comes from FF number 4. So